Hey guys, this is Will Pumperly. A lot of you guys in the community know me as Doug. Biz dev lead at Metis. Also do a lot with the community ecosystem governance program, which has been going really well. And yeah, we've had quite a lot of conversation with Revenant, just from reaching out initially to their deployment and doing different events. Really looking forward to talking GameFi with everyone in the spaces and letting you guys hear the brilliant minds behind Revenant.
Thank you, Doug. My name is Amin. I'm with the BizDev team over at Metis as well. Just kind of on here to kind of talk about what gaming looks like in the future of Metis and the future of Revenant and how this partnership is going to unfold. And very excited for what's to come. Also, would love to hear from the community as well during this conversation. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Awesome. Thanks, Aman. So I think if you guys don't know me, my name is Alejandro, and I'm one of the co-founders of Revenant. Like Aman said, we're always looking to get some community feedback, whether it's about the Metis ecosystem or especially about Revenant, because for us, our community is super important. So anyways, we're really excited to be talking about GameFi and everything we have to offer Revenant and the entire crypto space. So very happy to be here and chatting with all of you.
What's up, guys? Franz here. I'm also one of the co-founder in Revenant. I'm the guy who does the fun stuff in Revenant, I would say, design and all the graphic part, and also dealing with the games. Really happy to be here. We have been really close with the Metis team, and I think that they are doing a great job so far. And they're really bringing the ecosystem and layer 2 into the next level. So really happy today to be speaking about gaming, GameFi, the future of GameFi in general, and especially into Metis.
Awesome. Well, and yeah, for those who don't know me, I'm Jose from the Metis team, and we're very excited to be here to talk a little bit about GameFi and Metis. So yeah, we're going to be talking about what the future of GameFi looks like in Metis. We're going to touch on reputation power system in Metis because there's some very interesting use cases that can be applied through a reputation power system and some other alpha we're very excited to share. I don't know if the Revenant team wants to take on and take the lead. My bad for my dog.
It's all good. I guess this might be a good time to kind of talk a little bit about our backstory and how we kind of got into the Metis ecosystem, if you're cool with that. Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Okay, awesome. So, like many projects that launched in the October-November period, we initially started as a fork of Olympus DAO. But of course, due to a few bad actors in the space, that whole market went south. As opposed to most of the projects, we actually were one of the first doxed ones. So, my partner, Enigma France, he doxed from the very beginning. And to be honest, I think it's one of the things that helped us establish the super strong community we have right now and allowed us actually to bring it over to the Metis network. As many of switching blockchains is not always the most simple process, and it's possible to lose some community members during that time. But we were super excited that, all of our community basically came with us, right? And, sure, it might be the bear market, the engagement might not be as high as usual, but the important thing for us is that the core of our community is still super engaged and is still following along with us. And anyways, when we came over to the Metis network, one of the first things we did was try to get in touch with the Metis team, right? So that's why we've been having these great conversations with Aman, with Jose, with Will or Doug, and also the rest of the Metis leadership. For us, it was super important to have a strong relationship with our hosts, and I think on our end we saw it as a very organic thing because when we were having conversations with you all, and please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like we had a lot of similar opinions when it came to, the future of blockchain technology, the future of GameFi, and the direction that the Metis ecosystem was to progress. And GameFi was going to be a huge part of it. So for us, that was super encouraging to see that there was this core team behind it that supported basically everything that we stood for. So that was very encouraging to us.
Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty much like what we're about. And we chose to be like, we chose y'all as like to go through a CG process and to be with us, like especially during in this sector, because we see kind of like the vision that you all have, how you like the things that you all prioritize, and I mean, we're very excited about it. Like as of right now, especially during these type of markets that we are currently in, projects need a lot of guidance. Projects need a lot of guidance and a lot of companion, pretty much like company through this way. And that's pretty much what y'all do. Like kind of like give them that advisory, that helping hand, and guide them through a way. So I don't know. Aman is kind of like the speaker that I want the most to touch on these topics and to get on this space because he's our main GameFi guy. So Aman, I don't know if you want to delight our audience.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's been quite the journey being with Metis and rolling out gaming. We initially had like some experimental projects kind of come on board that didn't quite per se perform as well as we would have liked them to. But you live and you learn, and that was kind of what the whole phase was about. Now, regrouping after that, at one point there was we as pretty much Metis's mainnet launched in November, and what that did is as soon as we came out the gates, there was even though we have strong infrastructure, we were overshadowed by a lot of already existing blockchain ecosystems. So it was actually very difficult to find to get in touch with games at that point because they were already kind of locked in terms of who already had a gaming economy and who's already out there, and to be honest, who is also incentivizing them massively at that point. Because I think we can all admit that at one point we saw everyone and their dog, like every ecosystem was throwing money at games. You could literally create uh, Pac-Man simulation, like an example of Pac-Man, and all of a sudden it was the next revolutionary thing in blockchain and whatnot, and lots of hype-driven stuff in terms of market sentiments. And we actually had the ability to, sit back, look at things, look at the data, see which communities are actually still standing, which ones are not. And from this point on, it's been really amazing because you kind of see projects for what they are in terms of who was truly building a valuable product and who at one point may have told us that, hey, we're not interested in coming to meet us because we are good where we are. Meanwhile, like, a week or two ago, we get a plethora of projects that are saying, hey, look, we need your help, so it's been quite an interesting experience, just getting out there, engaging, and seeing where the holdups are in terms of GameFi and what these projects actually need. Whether it's better tokenomics, whether it's developers that don't have a lot of marketing experience, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure everyone can kind of probably has an idea already in terms of where there would be gaps within the space. So now we're actually taking a much more data driven approach, and also finding the right projects that really build out an entire gaming economy rather than just having a ton of games that, which is great, but then you end up overshadowing one another as well. Like there's certain networks that have so many games, and a lot of games go there because of that reason, but they don't really receive proper support. Whereas when you have, us on the biz dev team at Metis, also working alongside infrastructure projects that can support gaming, such as Revenant, you're going to get this collaborative experience, coming in and getting supported within our ecosystem. So a lot of exciting stuff, and now it just kind of comes down to like, what's the card game or card games that we're going to run with? What's the, RPG game, et cetera, et cetera. So we're just pretty much preparing for that. Our infrastructure is fully supportive of everything. And yeah, now it's just a matter of bringing in the right tailored fit.
Yeah, sorry to just to intercept. I think Aman, you really hit the nail in the head. As the same that we spoke during consensus and the central. I think the important thing is really to get quality projects in the chain, right? Because at the moment, even the quality projects that they are at the moment, game wise, the majority are really. I mean, to put it in a in the best way possible, they are really a form of Ponzi schemes for a lot of the major games, right? Even let's take a look at let's say I don't know like Krabada or Axie Infinity. I mean, these type of games generally are just the play to earn way is not really. Well, I'll be going into a tangent here, but the play to earn is really not sustainable, at least the way that there is right now, right? So we're really looking to bring in projects and work with different games that are something more than just playing and making money in that sense. Like we're looking for projects that A, they have a really solid team, and B, that the game is sustainable, right? Because we know how the majority of the projects in crypto are in general, which are basically either racks or Ponzi's, right? I mean, even the OHM that we started with was a. I mean, the basics are kind of Ponzi-ish, right? So we're really looking for something um, that is not that something that can bring value to the chain. And yeah, I mean, and that's actually why we completely move from there, right?
Definitely.
Yeah,
And it's very, very interesting. I was just going to add that, like, now that we're kind of shifting, and at least if you are developing a play to earn game, you definitely have to think very long and hard in terms of your, of how your economy is actually sustaining itself. But to be frankly honest, like some of the games that are coming out now that are that look amazing. There's a game that I had spoken to just last week. It looks incredible, but now it's kind of pivoting away from play to earn, and it's going to probably take another potentially year plus to build it out based off of of what they're doing in terms of their graphic work. So it's actually interesting to see this whole space pivot, but that also a lot of quality products may not be out right away is what I'm getting at. So that's the ability right now to kind of tunker down and focus on actual good quality.
And I'm going to give it to Revenant in 1 second. I just want to say this is all very interesting, especially like during this market, taking in consideration all the kind of like the total addressable market for gaming, for the GameFi industry, and especially like gaming being such a huge industry and now entering like the blockchain world so fast. There's going to be a lot of big players, or there's going to be, or not even, and there's also going to be a lot of medium to big players. So like it's going to be, an industry that has an immense room for growth. So, and especially during bear market, like this is a period where products are really built from the base up. So I wanted to ask Alejandro, where do you see GameFi going in the future? Like starting by there.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And before I answer where GameFi is going in the future, I just wanted to quickly touch on something that Mon said because I think it was key. When you were describing us and when you were talking about what needs to happen, you used the word support, and that for us is key. Okay. And you also mentioned us being kind of like infrastructure for gaming. And that is a point that I don't really want to be lost. Like that is key for us. Sure, on one hand, we do have our gaming studio where we're building a game, Battle of Olympus, but I think probably our higher calling here is actually being kind of like a connective tissue or glue for gaming projects coming onto Metis. Okay. So that's where we see like a huge amount of value that we can bring to the chain. So currently we're already having a lot of conversations with gaming projects, and several have already expressed a very big interest in coming to meet us. So we won't reveal too much about that, but what we can provide is that connective tissue, provide that glue, provide that support, especially during a bear market, that collaborative, I guess, kind of effort, that collaborative soul, which I think is essential to the core of Metis. So I just want to put that out there. Now, Jose, to get to your question about the future of GameFi, I think my partner has already mentioned a few things that kind of add to that question, you know. And even Aman, when he spoke, you know, I think last year it was a hype market, right? So with a hype market, you have, how do I put this politely? A lot of low quality projects coming out of nowhere.
That's the word that you're looking for.
We have a lot of low quality projects coming out of nowhere, and people who, let's say, maybe aren't super familiar with the market, they just throw a whole bunch of money into them. And these projects, even though their fundamentals are very, very poor, tend to do well. And these projects, they might last for a bull cycle. They might last for, you know, a few months, but they're not going to go much farther than that. So what I see going forward is kind of like a very big change to the play to earn model, where we kind of move away from these Ponzi tokenomics, as Franz was saying, and we move into a more sustainable system, potentially even towards a play and earn thing. So I know one of the things that, you know, drove us crazy was, you know, just having games for the sake of making money. Whereas, you know, the games that are super popular outside of crypto are those that are the most playable, the most fun, the most engaging, and the ones that draw in the most number of people and are competitive. So that's something that we're trying to bring here. Like, we want to give that gaming experience, whether it be through our games or the ones we bring into the network. But at the same time, people have, you know, as a bonus, the opportunity to make money. We don't want it to be solely about money, because that's when things get corrupted and you don't really have genuine communities that actually care about the product, the team themselves, and there's just too much competition, but of the negative kind. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
If it's not fun, is it really GameFi though? It's just a financial product. If it's just about making money,
yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. Sorry to interrupt, but I really think that this is something that is not spoken a lot in this type of world, but we will definitely see a shift from play to earn to play and earn, which is a totally different gameplay. And gameplay in the sense not of the gameplay of the game, but in the gameplay of, you know, of how to approach this.
I agree,
because play and earn is like you earn if you're good, which is in the real world is the same. Like, you know, in the esports, for example, you don't earn if you are like bad, right? You just earn if you are good. You earn if you get lucky. If you open a loot box and you get that 0.01% chance, if you kill that monster and you get the 0.1% monster drop, right? It's a totally different case than, oh, I'm just gonna play, click a button, wait for my crabs or, you know, or axes to play. I was seeing 4 hours and then I earn like $5. Like, that's not gameplay. That's just like a gamified version of DeFi, really, isn't it? I mean, it's free money, which is obviously not sustainable, and is, you know, it's okay if there's a high market, but, you know, you cannot say that these type of games are actually games, right? That, I mean, it's a bit like an idle game, so to speak, for the mobile, but without the fun part. I mean, so I really think that we will start to see, which we actually start to see, especially speaking with a lot of projects in that we have been doing so far. You can really see that change into less at crypto, less at NFT, but let's make it in an intelligent way. Let's make it in a way that it actually makes sense for the game, not just because, oh, you know, I want to earn money and hype, right?
Absolutely. Kind of like by implementing what you said about play and earn, instead of play kind of like play to earn, we can actually stop focusing on making money. That way the tokenomics can stop being unsustainable. We can actually see a shift in this way, and kind of like make games sustainable on the long term. And at the end of the day, like blockchain, like games have been the #1 driver for user adoption in all ecosystems. Like, will it be the biggest driver of user adoption for crypto? Time will tell. But I do think that it's key what you're saying. Kind of like, instead of making it play to earn, play and earn. Kind of like accommodate the tokenomics for it to be sustainable and for it not to be about the money, but instead about the game having that bonus, like you said. I completely agree. Couldn't be more in line with you.
Yeah, I think we're kind of all aligned here. And I think it was right after consensus, I was on a panel about surviving the bear market. You know, what's going to be kind of the main drivers what sectors, what industries are going to kind of pull us through this. And everyone was talking DeFi this, Web3 that, but I was thinking about you guys, Revenant, whenever I was talking, and just from how much I've kind of learned from you guys and really share your passion and vision, is that I believe it's going to be GameFi. And that's kind of what I started to talk about, because there's just so much room for improvement in GameFi, but there's just so much potential where, kind of the crux of this industry in crypto is kind of taking back ownership. That's what Web3 is, right? It's taking back our data. It's taking back control of our identity and these different things. Whereas something as pretty simple as gaming, right? And gaming has gotten even a little out of control with the loot boxes, and I forget which game it was, like I think the new Diablo game or whatever. They calculated it would cost you $540,000 to max out your player, right? Just buying extra items and quests and
Are we talking about Diablo Immortal?
It's something crazy about, and it's just like, this is what they're, what do we call that? Trad GameFi? The traditional gaming companies, they found a way to extract so much value, or just, I could call it value, but just money out of people. Before, back in our day, I don't know the age of everybody listening, but you had a Nintendo and maybe a PlayStation, but you didn't have to pay subscription fees and all this extra money on top. And they've kind of figured out that is the way to maximize profit for these traditional companies, where we just want, sure, we'll do all that, but we want to be rewarded a little bit. And so for me, I just think that there's so much potential and room for improvement and growth during this bear market for GameFi to kind of figure this all out, to figure out a way to reward their players, figure out a way to maybe make it an income for some guys that are good, or that there's different models for that, but then also make it easier for developers. Like, kind of just we find the middle ground of, there's money to be made, there's money to be given out, but how do we distribute that? And so that's what excites me the most, and I think that's why GameFi is. What? No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like go or take the lead, like whatever you were just saying, kind of like how to monetize, how to give people this money, how to actually kind of like find a way in which it's properly done. And I think that's exactly where the reputation power system comes in. That's exactly where the matrix would come in and actually be able to track all of these data, kind of like have transparent data, while users will be able to not only keep their identity anonymous, but even keep privacy with it, because you can allow, like, you can choose which badges or not to be shown to which platforms, but all your gaming kind of like capabilities, track record, experience, you name it, is going to be with you. Like, it's going to be tracked and you're going to have it with you. Like, this way we could even see, imagine, like, just like we see gaming leaderboards for certain games, like all across the globe. Imagine if we could see this for Web3, and there could even, like, not as of right now, but we will see ways in which this could even be measured, kind of like the best gamers in Web3. And imagine, like, all the badges that they could have representing that could later become, or not even later, like immediately become a revenue stream. Because once everyone knows that you're one of the best gamers in Web3, just like if we think about Ninja, for example, that's one of the guys that I've seen making the most money in the least amount of time. Why? Because everyone wanted to see him play. Like, he was just a gamer, but he made bank on it because he was good at it. And the same way, all these people in Web3 could do the same thing, but in a way bigger scale, and without a middleman. So I'm very excited about all this.
Yeah. Actually, it's not. That's a really good approach. It's actually something that we haven't thought too much about it. Even if esports is definitely something that we really want to push in our games and into the community. Since for me, I've been running a digital agency for 10 years now, working with mainly esports and gaming. So I know quite a bit in the subject. But I think, especially what you were talking about earlier on, the earning part, right? And that is something that we are working on and just finalizing the tokenomics for our main game, Battle of Olympus. And the approach that we took is actually a bit the mobile approach, in the sense that not the play to earn aspect. Sorry, not the pay to win aspect, but the aspect that there are a lot of microtransaction options in the mobile game industry, which could be from loot boxes to boosters and whatnot. Again, it doesn't need to be pay to win, right? To do that, especially if you're gonna have the esport aspect. But just imagine that, for example, in our case, you're gonna have some type of loot boxes in it, right? So just imagine that you get lucky and you actually pull out some rare item. Like generally, what will happen is if you want to sell the item, you will need to sell all the account, right? I mean, we're not talking about World of Warcraft. We're talking about like League of Legends or whatever, like this type, or even Counter Strike is not the case, but League of Legends and these kind of games that you cannot just sell the item, right? So if you get an awesome skin, then you need to sell your account if you want to sell it, and you need to do it on a third party and this kind of stuff. Or for example, you get a lot of money in World of Warcraft. If you want to capitalize on that, first of all, is not, let's say, in their terms of service, so you will get banned. I mean, technically you will get banned. And second, you need to do it on a third parties. And why is that? Why are we doing that? Why not just making an NFT? Why not just make your account an NFT and you can capitalize on it, right? You get lucky, you pull out some awesome item, boom, you can just sell it on the market with real money, like for the tokens. It's a no-brainer. I really don't see how this wasn't really thought even when the blockchain came out. I think it's a no-brainer because you can sell items and your time, which is basically is money that you earn in the game, for real money, right? So you could technically actually make quite a bit just by playing, but playing something that other players want, not just draining the liquidity, which is what is happening right now with, again, games like Crabbit and Axie, which is just draining liquidity. You're selling to some other players that wants the item, right? So you are trading with other players and you are making money out of it. It just makes so much sense. And especially in Metis, because it's so quick, the transactions are so cheap. So even if you want to sell, $1, you're not gonna get like tax $20 like Ethereum, right? It's gonna cost like cents, if that. So it just makes a lot of sense overall.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. So I love everything that I'm hearing, but I still have some questions that I have written down in my little notebook right here that I wanted to make you all. So what would you say like the Revenant community could expect in the future?
Well, I think the Revenant community can expect a lot in the future, but we
Okay,
like to.
give us some details, Alejandro.
Yeah, but definitely, we like to think that the best way to actually build out a project is to not spread yourselves too thin, but at the same time bring a lot of value. So our focus for right now, for the near future, and probably for the long term, because these are projects we see going on for a long time, are on one hand Battle of Olympus, as Enigma has alluded to several times, which is a Tekken-inspired fighting game that basically takes place in like a CryptoPunk cyberpunk slash Greek-inspired universe. And we are looking to have a playable alpha for that in the next quarter. So that is very exciting stuff. And the first thing we want it to be is playable and fun. We want people to be able to play it like for hours, to have fun, to leave, come back, rather than just come once a day to get that money. So we're initially starting out with the gameplay with the 1-to-1, so people fighting against each other. But we're going to be building out that universe quite a bit. So I won't reveal too much on that end. The other thing the Revenant community can look out for is Revenant Launch Pad. So we've already talked about it quite a bit on this Twitter Spaces, but it's really just about creating a platform that appeals to gamers, game developers, and investors. So on one hand, game developers have access to the resources we provide, a free KYC. They get access to our marketing department, and they get access to our network, which I think you guys who have been in the space for a long time, you understand how valuable a network is, even if you cannot count it in dollar figures, outright, right? So we're really looking to mentor, inspire, and help build the gaming community on Metis. And on the other hand, if you're an investor, this is an excellent way to get in early on projects, which is, we all know that getting in early is the best way to make a profit. So, you can study projects that we vetted, heavily to make sure that, they're robust from their tokenomics to their gameplay and everything. And then you can make that, calculated decision to invest in some of these projects that, we believe will have like a very profitable and prosperous future.
I love that answer. I absolutely loved that answer. Hell yeah. So well, like Revenant community, you already know, like exciting times are coming ahead.
For sure. I have a question for you guys, actually. Maybe two. First,
Aman, Aman, or actually, Will, do you want to take on that question?
I can, but really quickly, I just have to say that what I'm most excited about Revenant is not like we talked about. They're so much, but what they are truly in their heart, they're a gaming ecosystem, launch pad, platform, infrastructure. Like they're just not a game, and what they provide in value to other games, other developers, somebody who has an idea, whatever, is that they bring their other levels of expertise. With Franz and his digital agency, and Alejandro with his multiple world championships, NBA 2K. I'm kidding a little bit, but their gaming experience.
Not sure if that's too accurate, but okay, let's later.
Hey, relax.
But that is what, because we on the BizDev team, in our various roles, we have meetings with 5 to 10 projects a week. New projects, old projects, dead projects, startup, everything in between. We've talked to all the great games, all the crappy games. But what Revenant, they made such an impression on us because they really had that vision for the future about what it takes, about where the industry is kind of heading and what they can do to kind of incubate these projects. And so it just really struck me and the rest of the team as these guys really get it. And we've had a lot of great events in history since then. But even from that first meeting, they're because the first 2 minutes of talking to any of us on the BizDev team and different projects and vice versa, you can tell if a blockchain or a layer 1, layer 2, whatever, if they're kind of full of hot air and they're crappy. Same thing goes for a BS project. You can kind of, within the first few minutes, especially after we've had these meetings, you can see if they're really about what they're talking about, or it's just a cash grab, or they're just scammers. The non thing is a big red flag, and that's always good to see. Whether we've got the faces on the screen, they're using their first and last names. We connect on LinkedIn, but more than anything, within those first few minutes, it was like an aha moment. It was because we probably meet with 5 or 6 crappy, forked games of, and these guys really get it. So they got the cool gaming aspect down, but then they're actually doing this part to help others, to help us as investors and community members get in early, and then also to help those projects incubate, find a footing, get on the right chain, get their gameplay and tokenomics worked out. Because I've done this, and so that's, for me, my favorite part about what they do is the ecosystem. They're going to be a mini ecosystem within our ecosystem of all kinds of different games. They're going to help incubate them. They're going to help bring them to market, kind of unleashing the power of both the Revenant and Metis community. So that's what I'm most excited about is their launch pad ecosystem. They're gamers helping gamers, developers helping developers, and I think it's really cool.
100%. Okay. Now we can take your question.
My turn to ask the question. Yeah, I have a question for you guys. Metis team. Obviously, you guys are doing big things. But first, where do you see the future of Metis going? What exciting things do you have in store for your community? And secondly, how do you think Metis is going to contribute to the advancement of GameFi? What does Metis have in store to support that?
Well, I think we have a lot to support it from an infrastructure level. I think the reputation power stuff is going to be very interesting to add more gamification to games that are coming. In terms of the future of Metis, we're going to actually have our second half of this year's roadmap, released by, I believe, within the next day or two. So a lot of stuff is going to come up in relation to what does our where we're at in terms of decentralization, excuse me, as an organization. And from there, how does that play into how projects are onboarding? What happens to our departments? So I think it's going to be very interesting to see the evolution of the company, and as that kind of real time is happening, take on gaming, which is not going to be something that we put on the back burner as well. So, and then also having, like, for instance, we have Revenant, you guys here, and honestly, just to piggyback off what Will said, is it's like having a little bit of an extended family now, because we met you guys. We're like, okay, they have good head on their shoulders, they have the right intentions, they are obviously keen on certain types of projects. They're not just they're being particular, which is good because it's a part of curation. And then obviously, developing more partnerships like that, and to create a gaming economy, the way that I see it is like, you got to have DeFi mixed with gaming, mixed with the NFT marketplace. And you got to have people that are all willing to play ball to help each other out. And that's how I can say that. I know it's been quiet, for instance, or it's seemingly quiet. I know we have had projects come through our CG governance program, but at the end of the day, we're currently, I think a lot of people are aware, we're going through a chain link integration, and we're pretty much lining up our ducks for everything to roll out as this is happening. So lots of fireworks coming very soon, guys.
Yeah, quick tangent there. We also we have been speaking with Chainlink for a while. So actually, when we were in Avalanche, and I just want to say that they are really great guys, a great team.
I just wanted to say, like, bull of the deep and all driver. Give us 1 second. Like, we'll be getting to the audience questions in a minute. Like, we'll just finish with the actual conversation, and then we'll migrate to the AMA. But I also, like, answering to your question, Alejandro. Like, I also wanted to hop into this one and kind of like say something that goes by the lines of what a man said. Like, I believe we're going to see a creator-driven GameFi in the future, kind of like 100% like creating things that contribute to this game economy or to these ecosystems in general. Because if games, like, the more people we start seeing like using these ecosystems, using this technology, the more advertisement opportunities that there's going to be also for traditional companies. That's why we have seen companies like Adidas or even Nike like buying metaverse slots. Like, I think Adidas did it in Sandbox, and there were some like companies that were also doing it for the other side. That's why they know that they can charge such high prices as well, because they know that companies are going to be also bidding for these type of spots, because they see the same thing. This is going to be a creator driven world, a creator driven industry in which you need to be not just creating but contributing and being active in this kind of like in these ecosystems, especially in the gaming or NFT ecosystems. So I think the answer, like simplified answer, creator driven. That's my answer.
I really applaud what you added there, Jose, and I also want to add that I think there's a big aspect, like, I say this all the time, where I believe that in the Web3 blockchain space, it's still a startup as an entire industry. And with gaming, which kind of really popped off thanks to Axie and whatnot, and it kind of really helps, create this flywheel effect. I think the idea of the common person understanding the value of ownership is still something that's not completely comprehended. So, we can go ahead and talk about how important it is to have ownership, and we can read all the Vitalik papers that we want, but until you actually experience it and see how companies monetize it and actually find true value in it, it is difficult also to to pitch that value. So with where we're at right now, for instance, in the position that we are at Metis, we're able to actually look at data from games. But can you imagine, like, a year from now, how much that data will evolve? 5 years from now, it's going to be, miles ahead. So it's actually very interesting where we're trying to capture and pitch the value of Web3 gaming. And obviously we all see value in it. That's why we're here right now. And that's why these people are listening to us graciously. And it's very interesting because we're in this kind of funny spot where, as the data comes out, I do think that the growth of Web3 gaming is going to expand massively. So just wanted to add that little tidbit in terms of the value of ownership and how it is very, correlated to the data that we're given, and we're just kind of getting started. So shout out to everybody, you guys, for sticking it out with us so far. Just wanted to add that. Thank you, guys.
100%. Your community is incredible, and I really appreciate people being on here. And I even see some people that we've worked with and had conversations with. So shout out to you guys. Tom, I see you, man.
There we go. And just kind of building off what we were saying about our community and developing these ecosystems. Obviously, with any new chain, there are growing pains when it comes to bad actors that deploy on our network or try to kind of ride our coattails, or just ride the DeFi fork train. That happens on any new chain. But the feedback that we've gotten from Revenant, and keep in mind, guys, they had their pick of the litter. They could have went with Polygon and gotten all this big grants. They could have went with Arbitrum or Optimism, or even gone like Solana or AVAX or Phantom, who knows? But they did their research, and they really wanted to focus on a layer 2 that is robust, super fast transaction speeds, and obviously with games you need the fees super low. Metis is all those things, but they're relatively close with other chains. And you guys can kind of touch on this a little bit, but we kind of pride ourselves in the biz dev and development team of really going above and beyond with the level of support that we provide. And I like to say this in a lot of different meetings. Would you rather be one of 50 games on Polygon that are doing your type of gaming, or would you be like one of 2 or one of 1 on us, and you build your brand and you build yourself? And so that's one of the things that Revenant had to take into consideration. But at the same time, those are all secondary to the level of support you get. And it's not just one of 50 you're lost in their ecosystem map. It's like one of 50 when you're trying to get help, or you're trying to get co-marketing support, or you're really trying to get like Aman was saying earlier, we're kind of like one family, and you don't really get that with other chains. And so and it's just grown from there, from our first meeting to the events we've done, and meeting in person, and continue doing things like this. We really pride ourselves on giving that level of support that you're frankly not going to see on some of these alternative layer 1s or VC crazy funded layer 2s.
Absolutely. Like Doug couldn't say it better. Like, pretty much. I'm not sure if there's any other question from the Revenant guys, or if we wanna let the audience hop on the AMA.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I just wanted to add to get some of the people that are involved within if it's not just a question they may have, but contribute to the conversation with what they see or feel about the future of gaming, or where can we move faster collectively in helping, push the space forward. So if anyone would like to come up, you're more than welcome.
Thanks for that, Aman. You're 100% right.
Because I don't have all the answers.
I'm expecting Bull of the Deep to come ask or contribute. Hell yeah, there he is.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, I think you're up, Bull.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing?
How's it going,
Hey,
man?
what's up?
Yeah.
Nice to have you here.
Yeah, I've been following up this space for a while. Looking at what's been observing the discussions, and then seeing how it is going. So I'm building a Web3 casino that whereby liquidity providers can and users can have a little struggle of funds. So I think I have a little background on the GameFi space and the potential and then what it has to bring. So I want to ask whether Revenant has whether they are thinking about producing a game or whether it's just a Web3 community of gamers. So I would want to know the direction they are heading into and then stuff like that.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. As I said from the beginning, the infrastructure part of what we're doing and bringing in games into Metis is only one part. We started out building our own games. So as Franz Enigma mentioned, we're building out Battle of Olympus right now, which is basically a Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat inspired game that combines Greek mythology with a cyberpunk styling.
It's a Street Fighter, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So that game, you can probably expect it in the next quarter. So that, we've been working on that, pretty intensely since I think January is when we started.
Yeah, I mean, actually, we do have the gameplay right now. Like, we could release it right now, but the point is we want to finish the tokenomics, and before releasing the gameplay, we want to polish some animations. But it's playable right now, actually, if you can find the secret dev link. But I mean, it's actually playable right now. I think we released a couple of videos. We still haven't started with the marketing yet, but because again, we want to have something solid to do it. But if you have been in our community, then you can definitely see a lot of updates. We add almost weekly, almost daily updates on the development. So
oh cool. So can I get a link to the demo to check it out, because that would be something I would really love to do. Maybe you can DM it to me after the space or something like that. Hello?
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know. Franz, did you hear what he said?
no, I couldn't hear him properly.
No, he was asking
Okay.
if you could DM him a link to the demo.
You can
not yet. Sorry, I cannot yet, but I can take a video of it.
Okay. I would really love to see that. Then one advice I would give to games that are going to come out in the nearest future, I think having less NFTs and maybe the tokenomics designed to scale upwards would actually be better, because I think we need to have a more low barrier to entry so that you can have a lot of people zooming into Web3 gaming. I've seen a situation whereby people, Web2 natives come into the Web3 space to play games, and then people start telling them that before you are able to play a single game, you have to buy an NFT. So it's not really that free. So I would want more situations whereby someone can hop in without an NFT and then maybe play, and as he's playing, he's getting NFTs in return. So these are just ideas I would trying to share to everyone, so that we would have more people in the Web3 space that wants to be gamers.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the best thing would be once we are finalizing the tokenomics this week, most likely, and then we will be doing some. Also, the website is done, so we will release the website soon. Once that is out, we'll start marketing it, and then you can, even if you jump in our Discord, we can definitely talk about it. We can explain a bit more into details. I mean, it's nearly 8:30, so we can definitely talk a bit more details and run you through how the gameplay is going to be and all that, which, by the way, they're going to be released on the site. So
awesome.
Awesome. No problem. I will be expecting that. Thank you very much.
Thanks for clarifying the questions.
No problem. Thank
you, Enigma. And okay, we have Appalachian Crypto next, and then we have Sub Captain. So let me get Appalachian Crypto up here. 1 second. Yep, I think you're up. Appalachian?
Cut out there for a minute. I want to say thank you guys for having this talk about GameFi. I think it's a really young space, and it just like DeFi generally, but it's even more in its infancy. And I'm excited to see where things go. I think in terms of sustainability, there is so much innovation that is needed. We have to rethink the tokenomic model in order to really make this something that is sustainable. I think DeFi generally is looking for sustainability still, but there is so much potential in
100%.
in GameFi. I think part of it is rethinking tokenomics, thinking of ways specifically to retain revenue in the ecosystem. If revenue is leaving your game, then your game is going to end up with no value, and that's just the reality of it. That's just the economics of it. The other thing I think that is really going to be tough is an evolution and maturity. Sorry, one sec.
You're good, brother. No problem.
All right, sorry. I think the other thing that's going to be really hard and take time is an evolution in gamers and investors, because games won't survive if you only have investors coming. Because they're going to invest, and they're going to look how to extract value out of the ecosystem with contributing, some, but it's that value extraction. So I think a maturity with the investors into gamers paying for entertainment is going to be essential. But like I said, I appreciate you guys having this talk. It's just a little bit of my thoughts on it. I'm curious if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I do, but first I just want to applaud you for, being a stand-up father and educating your kid on the future of GameFi as well. So, shout out to you, bro. But 100%, I believe innovation, there a lot more innovation needs to come in, because if not, as you say, it's just investors, and just investors will not push ahead like, I guess, GameFi, right? Investors aren't looking to improve gameplay. Investors are looking to improve ways to make money, and of course, profitability is always something we have to be on the lookout for. But first and foremost comes the gameplay, and then after that comes everything else. But I'm sure my partner Enigma has more to say about that.
I mean, it's what we were talking before. You definitely need hit the nail on the head. That's why just to give you a bit of an insight of our tokenomics. Our tokenomics for Battle of Olympus, we are really basing them on something that already works. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. I guess so. We can say that we are basing them on the mobile tokenomics, or the mobile economy, let's say, which is premium currency, which it can be tokens, which are items that can be NFTs, and everything else is a normal item. Again, it doesn't need to be fully decentralized, but it just needs to make sense. So, you instead of buying gems, you buy the tokens, which then you can extract, which you cannot with gems. Instead of when winning tournaments or winning, destroying a big boss and you get some gems, or passing a mission, you get some gems, you get tokens, which you can extract them, you can reuse them in the game, you can use them to buy items, which are NFTs, that if you get lucky, you can sell them in the market when somebody else can buy them, right? So it's economy based on actually playing, reinvesting in the game, and based on something that is fun, not just I'm gonna click a button, wait 4 hours, and get $10, basically, right?
Absolutely. Thanks for that answer, man. We are a couple minutes past our limit, but we're gonna take Subcaptain's question as the last one. So let me get you up here. Yes, sir. You're up. Subcaptain.
Hey, good day, everyone.
How's it going, man?
Yeah, I'm good, good. And I want to say a big shout out to Revenant for, thinking of bringing GameFi to Metis because, one thing I believe is what drives crypto is, the different trends we have over time. So shit coins, NFTs and the likes. And, I kind of believe that, what might, contribute to what might possibly contribute to the next bull run in crypto would be GameFi. I have having a hunch on that. So I just have two questions for Redman. Okay, and one of them will be because I've got friends who play Axie Infinity, and after the hack and a lot of things kind of went down. So some folks there complaining that it's maybe there's something wrong with the tokenomics of Axie Infinity. Folks kind of earn too much from that. So I just wanted to ask because what Revenant is trying to do is definitely something that would be open to a lot of people and bring folks to participate more in GameFi and getting to earn money while engaging themselves in something fun, right? So how do you guys plan to prevent something like what happened to Axie Infinity later on in the future? That's just one. That's the first question. And the second question, I don't know. I'm kind of fan of virtual reality games, so I don't know if Revenant might be thinking towards that later on in the future.
Yeah. Oh. Alejandro, are you happy if I take those questions?
Yeah, please. What the hell? Go.
So for the first question is, I mean, let's maybe do some exercise. With everybody, or maybe with you directly. What happens when you have a system where there is only way out, and for you to buy in, and the only way for them to make money is when people come in? What's the name of that? It's just the definition of a pyramid scheme, right? So
Yeah.
what is happening with Axie is that you have a lot of money coming out from a game that is basically not fun to play. So the incentive is not to play. The incentive is for third world country users to come in, play, and extract money. So what happens is, I mean, sure, the hack was obviously bad, but the hack wasn't the issue. The issue is the basic economics, right? So in normal games, there is no way of extracting money, so they just they're out because the player base runs out. But for Axie, it's not the same. You don't play because it's fun. Of course, Axie is huge, so they have a lot of runway until they run, until the Ponzi crashes, so to speak. But at the moment, the game is not fun, and so people are playing for the money. They're playing to earn. They're not playing unearning. So that's the issue with Axie, and it's the same for. I mean, I don't want to, pardon my. I don't want to shit. Yeah, I don't want to shit on many games, but Crabada is basically the same thing, and let's leave it there. So there's a lot of other games which are the same. Which the issue is that there's not a gameplay. So the gameplay is really the key here. Is what game is actually fun, people want to play. It doesn't look that it's made in 1990 and is not made for people to extract money. It's like play run and earn. Like run and earn. Like what's the point of that? Yeah, you buy some NFT, you go running, and then you earn money. Where is that money coming from, you think? It's coming from the people that buy the NFTs. And that's literally a pyramid scheme. That's how it works, right? You have new people, a Ponzi scheme. You have people coming in, putting the money, and everybody else is extracting the money. That's a definition of Ponzi. Which in this case, normally in a Ponzi, the head of the pyramid, let's say, is extracting. In this case, everybody is doing it. But so that's for the Axie part.
Well, sorry. One thing I say, it's not everybody. It's the people who came in first. Because everyone after that is diminishing returns, right? So people that get in super late, they're all losing. So just want to make the clarification.
That's correct. And in the other side is what the other question was about VR. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a huge fan of VR. I actually have Oculus. I suggest everybody who doesn't have Oculus to try. Is like amazing. The issue now with VR is that is not as mainstream, and it will need years for it to become mainstream. Meta is definitely helping out a lot, but we still need time. And I think at the moment, since crypto is even earlier, even younger than that, the GameFi world is even younger than that. Then obviously, if you put young and young together, is not very good, right? You need something that is mature, that we can get into, that it has really been proven, and that's in our case is the main gaming ecosystem. So I think at the moment VR is definitely something that we would like to do, but we need to see more support there.
Awesome. Those were some amazing answers. And thanks, guys. Thanks, Revenant team, Alejandro, Enigma. Thanks,
Thank you very much.
Aman, Will.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Everyone who came up to speak and everyone who stayed the whole time listening. There's like exciting times coming ahead, and Metis ecosystem is just getting started. So I recommend everyone to keep your eyes on it. And well,
Our DMs are always open, guys. You can hop in our groups, Twitter, Telegram. We love interacting with the community.
Yeah, same for us. Make sure to follow Revenant GameFi on Twitter and hop in our community as well.
Perfect. Well, thanks
See you
everyone,
guys.
and have a
Thank you
nice
very
day.
much.
Everyone. Take care.
Bye. Bye.